There's been a lot of controversy on the timeline. I'm sure y'all already know what we're going to talk about, where Playboi Carti's first week sales projections came out. He's projected or estimated, whatever, to sell 250K first week. However, how it was being calculated was a bit different this time because of like Billboard rules, or the shipments were not sent out yet for the pre-sale bundles with the all red or like the I Am Music box set. So like nobody really knows what's going on. So it's just 250K for pure streaming, not pure sales, just streaming only, 250K, which is actually fucking crazy because if you think about it, Utopia sold 250K, and it's Travis Scott, mind you, and he had, the whole entire industry on his back there, but so did Playboi Carti technically now for I Am Music, this is why I Am Music was supposed to be such a huge album. And it even broke records like number 7 debut for streaming ever by any album, I guess, or any artist. And then it was the top one in 2025. I can bring up a bunch of all these stats. I think I posted them all on Instagram, but it's just a crazy feat that like we've been fans of Cardi since 2015. And everybody would thought like, oh, he's trash, he's too niche, whatever. Like it was kind of a taste. What is it called? An acquired taste, Cardi is. But now he's actually statistically like the biggest rapper right now. Like he just outsold a Drake album, I'm pretty sure, just pure streams again. So anyway, why are the bundles not counted though? Because what the rumor was last week was that he already sold 145,000 just through pre-sales with the I Am Music box sets that were sold between the time of All Red and now. And they were supposed to ship out this week, and they actually ended up shipping out this week. I'm not sure if the CDs did though. Like the actual music, the physical copies of the music shipped out too. Because if it was just the clothing, then that could be why a lot of the albums did not end up counting, or if any at all. Because if we just go to the article, which I'm sure a lot of you again have already seen, it's from Hits Daily Double. Now again, this is a rumor. I'm not going to sit here and say this is confirmed information. This is where most people get their projections from, so they're pretty credible. I will have to say that. However, like even in the article, they have like a typo and among other things. So like I wouldn't, people are like gauging this as just fact, but it's just a projection, purely a projection. So anyway, he's selling around 250K first week, number 1 debut. Let's go to the article excerpt that everybody keeps grilling me about. And I'm like, yo, like just wait for the confirmation, chill out. Here it is. Mint Money Club. Y'all using Mint Money Club as your direct source nowadays? Og Intersco's Playboi Carti is off to an astounding start with his long-awaited set, Music. The over-under on the 30-track hip-hop releases chart, bow. Not now, is 250K without any physical. So y'all are taking this as fact, as a sermon, as words from God, allegedly, even though, again, it has a typo right here with bow. Bow. So just wait on it. But everyone else has picked it up. Regardless, though, if you count the 145K, because a bunch of other artists, fan bases, and communities are going to come out and be pissed off, especially because, as we discussed earlier, like Cardi, if you count the first week sales of the pure albums, of the 145,000 already that was accumulated at least prior with All Red and the I Am Music box sets, that would be 400,000 copies roughly, or almost. That is crazy. You would have never expected that from Playboi Carti, who again, like, yeah, he has crazy shows and like everybody talks about him, but like he's an acquired taste. I don't know. He's not as mainstream as Travis Scott, But now there is an argument to be had is like, is he bigger than Travis Scott? We posted this the other day where some people are starting to think so. Let me find it. Is it safe to say he surpassed Travis Scott in popularity? Because, again, Playboi Carti's music earned a huge 139 million Spotify streams in its first day. 7th biggest ever. Where is it? We posted like some comparison. Cardi streams Utopia. Because Utopia was on there. Right here. Shout out NFR. Had more first day streams than all of these albums. Travis Scott, Utopia. Drake. Let me repeat that. Drake. He just streamed more than Drake. He just streamed more than Kendrick Lamar. He just streamed more than Drake again. And Kanye. Conversations need to be had. Now, what's really confusing about this, though, is that logically, so if he had one of the biggest first day streams of any rapper or any artist, shall I say, wouldn't that mean that like he should be projected to have larger sales than them? I think he is already beating out Kendrick Lamar. I don't think he's beating out Drake and 21 Savage. Travis Scott, I think Utopia had 250 streams, 250 pure, so it ended up being like 500K or something like that. Drake for the Dogs, I think, did a large amount as well for all the dogs first week. 400. So why is Cardi's not getting projected to be as high as those? Now, it's because a lot of Cardi's streams are from global Spotify streams, whereas the only streams that count for the first week's sales are US. Only in the US. Which means a couple of things. One, he could have a more global fan base. Or two, which tends to happen for a lot of artists, and I'm not going to sit here and say like, I'm not trying to pin anybody here, but it does mean that it's more prone to bots. Now, in addition to this, and I'm not trying to hate on my boy Cardi, you already know this, but there was a Billboard rule change as well that could be the reason as to why his first week sales did not count for his pure album sales. Right here, which people are calling the Travis Scott rule, because basically anytime he drops an album, he makes sure Billboard changes that rule so that he can, maneuver his way to get them sales and get 200K and whatever. So anyway, even Cardi quote tweeted it, being like, yo, brah, add the sales to my albums because this is fucked up. And apparently this rule change by Billboard occurred where? Where was it? It was like, my God, bro. I can't find it. Billboard rule change. It happened like February 28th. So literally like a couple weeks ago, right here. Billboard rule change, effective February 28th. Digital albums sold via an artist, label, or other official web store must now be redeemed in order to be chart eligible, blah, blah, blah. In addition, verification using HCAPTCHA is now required to prevent bots. So basically, if there were a bunch of bots that purchased albums, or maybe actually, this is probably what it is. The site probably did not have the HCAPTCHA on it. They probably didn't realize that this was even a thing. So they didn't put it on there, and therefore none of the sales actually counted, which fucking blows because it doesn't even mean there was any suspicious activity going on. Regardless though, he can still drop the deluxe Opium Baby. Or not Opium Baby, sorry. Baby Boy, and get them sales back a little bit. But yeah, so it's sad to say, it's not even sad because I fuck with Uzi and I fuck with Cardi, but like now the Uzi fans could finally have their one last hurrah being like, haha, Cardi actually didn't end up selling as much as Uzi did with Eternal Atake, which was a bigger album, even though its first day streams weren't as high, but that just means that it had a higher proportion of them being in the US, which is a little suspicious on Cardi's end, but I'm just being unbiased here. So Uzi still won. Uzi's still on top. Uzi's peak is still higher, but at the same time, I don't think Uzi's number Billboard hit is as high as Evil Jordan is this week, projected to be at number 3 for Cardi. So now it's like there is a conversation to be had whose peak is higher, because we've always talked about the last few years, Uzi's peak was always like undeniably, clearly higher than Cardi's. But then Cardi was just creeping up and always in like a more relevant artist. And I think that's been proven already because just sold more than Uzi did on Pink Tape. EA2 what did like 65K, something like that. Although he didn't do too much promotion, so I get it. Like, y'all can use that excuse all day. I really don't care. But then now Cardi, just streaming wise, selling 250K, which is a huge feat in itself. And so Cardi clearly is the bigger artist by a long shot. However, now the peak is like Uzi's peak was still higher. So, you know, but now we have to have started conversations where, is Cardi bigger than Travis Scott? Is he bigger than Drake right now? Because Drake, academics talked about, Drake had a feature for Cardi, or the other way around. It was supposed to be on For All the Dogs, but then he didn't even end up putting it on his album. Now it's because Kendrick was on this project, and maybe Cardi didn't want to like start up any beef, or like wanted Kendrick on his side more than Drake did. And he already had the Drake feature, so Kendrick would just be like, fulfill his last infinity stone, if you will. But still, like, everybody wants the Cardi feature, and he's like the exclusive little bop that everybody wants in the industry. Pause. But you're right. Solly Band. Eternal Take had 18 songs on it versus Cardi having 30 songs on it. So that does help streaming a little bit, being that it's almost double the amount of tracks on there. But that also doesn't mean that everybody is going to listen to all 30 tracks, because I do think the whole project was a bit long. There were like, you know, a few skips on there, in my opinion, just my opinion. And it's hard to like really have a perfect album when you have 30 tracks, let's be honest. But still crazy to see just how far Cardi's come, because he was always seen to be like, you know, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, as in he was like somebody who was kind of underappreciated. But now obviously the numbers are proving that he is one of the top artists, because we've been saying this for years, and we've been waiting for 5 years for him to actually prove that he is a top rapper. But now the numbers are there to be like, you know, he's outselling everybody streams wise, and every feature he gets on, he makes it go number 1 with The Weeknd or Kanye or whatever. There's no really other artist that's doing that other than like Drake or maybe Kendrick, you know? So now people, the Cardi fans got something to back up the toxicity they have online with. With that being said, though, I want to see what happens next in Cardi's career, because I feel like in the next 2 years or so, there might be a Travis Scott type of trend where it was cool to like Travis during Astroworld, right? That album everybody loves. I personally like his Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight album more. To each your own, to each their own. But after that project, because he got to such big heights, especially dating Kylie Jenner, having a child with her, like he was mainstream, not even just music. Like he was a household brand, collab with McDonald's, etc. It almost got like corny to be a fan of Travis Scott in a way, because, you know, there were a bunch of white kids, like little white kids liking Travis Scott. It like took over. I don't know. It just got too big. Once a brand gets too big, like Supreme or anything, it like loses its appeal, its exclusivity. Because technically speaking, like the cool thing to do is the, you know, like the thing that's trending, but people haven't really figured out yet, like the masses. But once the masses get it, it becomes corny. But what I'm trying to say is, with Cardi, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like he might get to that point where people start saying, okay, like, we got to move on because he's not our secret anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm going to stop listening to him. I'm just saying he's no longer gentrification. Yeah. That's a good word for it. I don't think so, because Carti has a really good ear for beats and production. I think he really nailed it with Filthy and Pierre, and there's a lot of potential to grow the sound, and he's got the people to help him push the sound to new heights. Bro, it gets to a point where you can't... I don't know how much bigger I Am Music could have gotten than what it did this past week, where like literally everybody... My nephew who's like 14 years old, he knew about this shit. And of course, that's the demographic for Playboi Carti. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, the fact that the whole entire music industry went on pause during this album release. Nobody was running promos. Everybody realized that, okay, just let Carti do his thing. I don't even think Carti was really doing promotion because he knows that every blog is posting it. Like, this literally was Eternal Take all over again, where like literally everybody was just waiting to see what happened, like what he was doing, how he was rolling out the album. It was insane. And then they wanted to hear the album. And of course, he was late, so everybody stayed up, and then they had to go to sleep because he fucked everyone over. But still,